Okay. I'm live now. So let's see what we have here. He's Guatemalan. Hello? Can you hear me? Huh? Yeah.
Oh, I'm on a podcast. Oh my God, what's up, bro?
All good, bro. How you doing?
I'm good, and you? What's up?
Yeah, you're on a podcast right now?
Yes, sir. What are we talking about?
Well, you're on a podcast. Well, I'm on your podcast. You're on my YouTube channel. We're talking about philosophy.
Okay, I don't know what the philosophy is. I'll be dead ass, but we can talk about it, bro. Go.
He said he wanted to talk about it and he skipped. It's fine. 29.
Oh, you rap?
No, I don't rap. This is philosophy.
Oh, shoot, philosophy. Okay, hold up.
Yeah.
Give me an AP. Give me like an AP starter or something. I don't know.
Well, actually, everyone's a philosopher because everyone has a philosophical perspective on life. If I ask you, for example, what do you think the meaning of life is? Your answer will put you in a philosophical category. What would you say the meaning of life is? Why are we here?
Be fruitful and multiply. To have
Be,
sex to continue the will.
all right. Is sex something that makes you happy? Does it feel good?
It makes me happy and it leads to a happy result. So yeah.
Okay, so those are two categories. Category one, a philosophical position called hedonism. The principle of life is pleasure for me. And the other perspective is deontological, metaphysical ethic, where you say that the motive of the action makes the action justifiable. So if you say that the meaning of life is to procreate, then you fall in those two categories because one, that's the purpose of life, and it's the motive. You have sex for the motive of procreation. That's the ontological ethical system. And two, it feels good, so it's hedonism. But then you find problems with this one question. Do we then kill everyone who can't procreate if they don't have a purpose, since the purpose of life is to procreate?
I say no because those who can't, procreate, they're able to take care of offspring that don't, they can't have room for like a parent. You know what I'm saying? So if you can't have kids, there's still enough kids here in the world that needs someone like you. So even though you can't produce one yourself, you can take
There you
care of
go.
one.
So the purpose of life is now expanded to not only make sure you're able to procreate, but also make sure you're able to take care of children. The question could also be asked, what if someone can procreate and can't take care of children? For example, a child. Should we leave all children alive even though they can't take care of children and can't procreate at a point in time?
Well, they're a child. Their mission should not be to take care of children or to have children. They're still a child themselves.
Look at that. See, so these questions have now yielded three things. One, you got to be able to procreate. Two, if you can't procreate, make sure that you are able to take care of children. And three, if you can't take care of children and can't procreate, make sure you have the potential to do that. So the two things that we got to make sure we have in life to be purposeful or meaningful is ability to procreate and ability to take care of children. But then the last question on this that could, challenge your perspective. If a guy has no legs, no arms, can't take care of children, and can't procreate, should he continue living?
So a cripple, you know what
Yep.
I'm saying? Well, at that point, it's up to him.
You
You
see?
see, because I know I seen a couple cripples. They like, yeah, they be like, man, I don't really want to continue living knowing I'm like this, but I don't have the balls to do it myself. I'm like, well, if you don't have the balls to do it yourself, then better come up with another answer. Then at that point,
So we found out what your philosophical position is. You are a hedonistic deontologist. You see? That was good. We just found your perspective.
yeah, I guess you say it. Yeah,
Hedonistic deontologist. And hedonistic deontologists are going to have a hard time with cripples because cripples who can't procreate don't have a meaning to life because they can't do any of the things that give you meaning, which is procreation, taking care of children, and as well having the potential or capacity for those two things. It was a good convo, man.
but
See?
here's another thing too, right?
Huh?
Yeah, but here's another thing too.
Is it
If a cripple is kind of at that stage now, they're back to like in a child phase where they're now in a position to be taken care of. They're kind of in that position now to be taken care of. So
that's a good one,
if
man.
they're
I
kind of
love
in
the
that like
way.
that taken care of state,
I love the way you're defending the perspective. I love it.
so
I
that
love it.
means
So,
like
so the cripple who can't take care of himself, can't take care of anybody, and does not have the capacity for procreation is now in the category of the child that needs to be taken care of. Therefore, we take care of that individual. That's a good one. That's a good one. Hedonistic deontologist. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. What if we can I ask you some more questions about it, like to probe it some more, see how you deal with another problem? Because you're pretty good. You're pretty good.
go ahead.
All right. So, if the hedonistic deontologist will say, hey, if a child can't procreate, they can at least get to the capacity, so we shouldn't kill them. And if you're an adult, if you can procreate, that's your purpose. If you're an adult, if you can take care of children but can't procreate, that's your purpose. And if you are a cripple, you are in the category of being taken care of. Here's the question. What determines what is right from what is wrong in those various categories of humanity? What determines right from wrong? Is it subjective, where we decide what's right for us, what's wrong for us? Or is it objective, where we actually observe and see what is right, what is wrong, and then act according to those principles?
I would say is mainly comes down to putting clothes in, like just looking out for somebody at that point. Now, I'd say the objective part for me is who is the cripple. You know what I'm saying? Because if the cripple's Hitler, then I ain't taking care of you. But if the cripple is, my younger brother, sister, or something like that, you know what I'm saying? Then full flesh, here we go. You can't serve those two purposes. I'm still going to look out for you.
Okay, so
your
I'm
purpose
thinking
now is
about
in
it.
that position to where you're able to.
Okay, so let's say there's so your name is Milk, right? Or
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say Milk says we take care of the cripple if he's not Hitler, and John Doe says let's take care of the cripple and Hitler. What objection do you have to John Doe?
John Doe, he is your full responsibility. You're on your own and taking care of him. You want to take care of him, so be it. Just know, don't expect help from the rest of the village or, rest of the community, so on and so forth.
So is it arbitrary? We can just randomly select what is right for us, what is wrong for us. Like John Doe, I want to take care of Hitler and the cripple, and you, I don't want to take care of Hitler, I just want to take care of the cripple. Is it all subjective? We just decide what we want to do? Or is there a moral obligation outside of both you and John Doe that says take care of both or take care of one?
I mean, in the case, since this is Hitler, he's probably be taken care of under some guidance, or else, I don't know, man, he might start something else. You know what I'm saying? got a good mouth on them. So I would say, grand scheme, it's just like, whoever is willing to do the job, then at that point, then go ahead. But
So you'd say it's arbitrary. So you and John Doe are not
Yeah.
wrong. You and John Doe are not wrong or right in your decision to either withhold care or give care. Nobody is wrong. It's just up to who decides to do what they want to do, right?
yeah, pretty much, yeah.
So you are a hedonistic deontologist who is a subjective moralist. So you think that everything is subjective regarding morality. We choose what we want to do. But last question. Would you like to live in a society where everyone decides what is right for them and wrong for them despite the governmental rules of the society? So if there's a rule that says don't murder, the governmental rules are not enforced, you choose to do whatever you want to do. Would you like to live in a society like that? I wouldn't, because if I go outside and a guy is bigger than me and he just decides to himself, hey, I think it's right to punch this guy in the head and kill him. And I say, I think it's wrong to punch me in the head. Might would make right. I can't do anything. Would you like to live in a society like that?
I would say I think we kind of already do. Criminals, they live by that anyways, no matter the law or what.
Well, I
Would
would
you say so?
I would kind of disagree because they have to do it behind closed doors because there is an enforcement arm in the law system. But in my analogy, we remove the enforcement arm. So there are cops, there's a government, but no one does their job. Everyone gets to do whatever they want. I wouldn't want to live in a society like that where everybody decides what is right for them and wrong for them because might would make right. It would be the survival of the fittest. If you're bigger than me, stronger than me, smarter than me, I'm done if you want to kill me. But if there is a governmental arm that can punish the guilty and reward the righteous, I would like to live there. But in your society, a subjective moral society, a hedonistic deontologist who is subjectively moral, we could do whatever we want, man. But if you can't live in that society, if you say, Everton, I can't live in that society, then all the position that you have just laid forward, you have to abandon it and find a new philosophical perspective that I can probably help you with.
Yeah, I see where you're going.
Yeah.
But hold up. One thing, right?
I'm glad I'm making you think.
Even though we can't, we'll say, okay, John can do whatever he wants, right? In return, I can do whatever I want. So yes, you want to punch me. Let's say, going out that analogy, yes, let's say he do want to punch me and all that. Okay, if you want to punch me, I want to shoot you.
Mm-hmm.
So in that case,
Yeah.
it's up to you whether you want to follow through or not.
I mean, you're proving my point. So you have something
Yeah.
that can defend you against a guy who wants to hurt you. And the guy wants to hurt you. So that's a society where we're going to find a lot of guys like you and like him, one with the gun and one with the superiority of physicality. And the one with the gun is always going to win against the one with the physical superiority. And we're going to have guns shooting everywhere because there are going to always be guys out there trying to rob guys like you who have the gun. That's a society, my friend. I don't want to live in because I may get caught in the crossfire. See what I'm saying? So the philosophical perspective of viewing morality as subjective is not a good one in my perspective because it's a recipe for violence and vitriol in a society where the big ones want to pick on the small ones and the small ones got guns to defend themselves against the big ones. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the right
But
philosophical
isn't it
perspective.
okay?
Go ahead.
But would you say one is less inclined to do something in an environment where everyone has something to defend themselves with? So let's say I was going to rob your house, right?
Mm-hmm.
In a neighborhood where everyone has guns or like everyone has something to defend themselves with. would that deter someone from doing something less? You know what I'm saying?
It would
If
deter.
all I
Yeah,
see wrong, yeah, even though I got something to shoot you with.
you're right. You're right. It would deter. I agree with you to an extent in that it would deter some, but the ones who are not deterred, they would use the element of surprise. If both of you got guns, one just needs to use the element of surprise, where there is no punishment, no consequence if I take you out when you're not looking and take all your stuff. The element of surprise. In that society, everybody would have to keep their eyes open and sleep, sleep partially, because the element of surprise is something that is
I mean, I kind of do believe. Yeah, my fault. I kind of do believe that everyone should never not be like you should keep an eye open at all times, though.
well
I do believe that, like comfort. You know what I'm saying?
from our reality. So you live in the States, right? You live in
Yeah.
the States. I live in Jamaica. So there is in both our countries consequence for murder, for robbing, for stealing, for killing. There's consequence. So if these things happen, they have to happen if the criminal is smart behind closed doors so that they can try and prevent evidence from being found and stuff like that. In my analogy, I would say that our reality is disanalogous to the analogy that I gave earlier, where there is no government. And in that society, because I've met people who say that morality is subjective, and none of them ever say, I would like to live in a society that agrees with me, that everything is subjective. I would like to live in a society where the government protects the righteous and punishes the guilty. Everyone agrees with that. Because if you disagree with that, then if anything bad happens to anyone in your family, if you're consistent, you wouldn't complain and say, hey, you got to punish this guy because he hurt my sister or he hurt my mom. I want justice. I want justice. And the concept of justice for all is nonsense in a society like that because there is no justice. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I always say, if you
It's
have
like-
a
no, I'm
philosophical
coming from
so I always say, if you have a philosophical
Yeah.
perspective that you can't live in a society where everyone has that same philosophical perspective, you got to rethink it. Got to rethink it.
Yeah, I feel on that one.
Yeah. My philosophical
Like,
perspective
I
is
guess like
that.
for me though,
Yeah,
if
go
I
ahead.
was, yeah,
Go ahead.
like if I was living in such society where the consequences of the society imposed on me, I'm not the type of person that would go out to listen to like the police or like that government force that I would be complaining to. Let's say like my brother got killed or something, right?
Yeah, you take
Say
matters in your own
complaining to
hands.
someone, oh yeah, this is unfair, blah blah blah. I'm going to
You take
yeah,
matters.
like I would want to take it to my own hands. Like
Yeah, but
forget that. Like what?
Look,
what
I
am
agree
calling
with you. I
police
agree
for?
with you.
Like that's the least. That's the least result that I want.
I agree with you, and I probably would have done the same thing.
And plus, in that society, I want. Yeah,
I probably would have done the same thing, but
because like in that society, I wouldn't have to deal with the consequences of taking him out. You know what I'm saying?
and you'd probably be willing to take the consequences. You'd probably be willing to. In a society like that, and I'm a Christian, so I look at the consequence of revenge. Human beings, even if you're not one of them who falls in this category, human beings, when we take revenge, we tend to go beyond what was done to us. So if you kill my brother, chances are I might come for you and your brother, or come for you and your dog.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? A lot of human beings fall in this category, where if you do something to them, they come back and do something 10 times worse. That is why when you look at the concept of justice, justice gives you the merited consequences for your action. So if the government says that if you steal $100, you're going to pay back $100, that is what is called fairness. That's justice. But if you steal $100 and you got to get your hands chopped off and have your house taken away, your car taken away, and you got to pay $1 million, that's not fair. So justice gives you what you deserve and give you something that is equal to the consequence that you exhibited. And that's what the government does. If you take matters in your own hands, you're probably going to go beyond. So the philosophical perspective that I want to leave you with, man, is the Christian perspective. That everything is not subjective. Everything is objective. What God says is wrong is wrong. What God says is right is
Oh, the
right.
God pill.
Yeah. And the purpose of life is to live in a way that glorifies God instead of glorifying ourselves or making ourselves happy. Because in that way, we live in a society of people who are selfish and not selfless. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it makes sense. Have you ever heard of the
Oh,
gospel that Christ died for all those who believe, that when they trust in him and repent of their sins, they are saved, justified, sanctified. When they die, they go to heaven. Heard that gospel before?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you believe that, you're saved, and you live in a way that glorifies God and loves your neighbor, cares for your neighbor, and that's the right society. And when we go outside of that, bro, we have problems. Trust me, we do. A lot of problems.
Oh, question. So, like, you live in Jamaica, right?
Yeah.
There's these two girls from my school, and they say they do like voodoo, like they Haitian, right?
Yeah, I heard about that.
So, what advice? What advice would you give me? You know, I don't know if they have that stuff like where you're at.
Yeah, we have it
but-
here. We have it here, but not as
Well, would you give it
prevalent
to-
as Haiti. We have it here, but not as
Yeah.
prevalent as Haiti. Not as prevalent as Haiti.
So-
What's the question?
So what advice would you give me to help me, like, I guess, deter them from it? Because they believe like in sexual spirits, and like they be showing me videos how, like, some like their family members get like possessed and all that, how they be talking, and
Okay.
it's kind of freakish. Like,
My advice is, one, you pray for them, and two, you read the Bible, find out what the Bible says about divination and witchcraft, that it's wrong, and use that as your standard to tell them that they need to stop what they are doing, because the God who created them is not in approval of what they do and how they live. And that may deter them, and it may not, but it's good advice and a good thing to do.
okay. Do you think like any spirit or something might come out from like looking at the videos that they show me or something like that? You believe in that?
Yeah, there is demonic spirits. There are metaphysical beings who exist. And when you dabble in with evil rituals, there are things that can actually happen in your life that aim at destroying you, killing you, and making your life worse. And those situations can only be overcome by God himself when he intervenes. So I would tell you, man, stay away from that stuff. And if you have friends who are doing those things, tell them to stop. And if they try to put a spell on you, you run to God, because he's the only one who can save you from those things. And being as you're someone who I think believe that there's something beyond our physical world, you would have no objection to what they're doing, in that what they're doing does not exist. What I would advise you to do is be careful and run to God, believe the gospel, trust in God, and he'll protect you from that stuff.
So I don't have to worry about, I don't know, like Baba Yaga's coming after me or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? On Mr. Voodoo Man or something.
No, I'll pray for you too, so that won't happen.
Because like they be saying how like they be saying how like they be like because I was asking them questions about it and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like I don't know how I got there, but it was something like soul ties and all that.
Yeah.
And I said, what if I get into like a soul tie with like a crazy Haitian woman? What would happen to me? And they just looked at me. It was like, you're done. You're cooked. You're cooked. I'm like,
Well, as I said
she might do
before,
like dolls or whatever. I'm like, bro.
as I said before, just read the Bible, man. Look at what it says about those things so that you can have an educated perspective on what to believe and what not to believe. And as well, always know that the creator of the universe is more powerful than all of those witchcraft powers. And by being in alignment with him, you have nothing to worry about. I'm going to send you a friend request, man. It was lovely talking to you, bro. And thank you for your time. Thank you for your time, man. This was a good conversation.
Yeah, I got you.
Take it easy, bro. Until next time.
Yeah, God bless, man.
All right. I'm leaving now. I'm leaving now. Yeah, tell her that I'm leaving now. I was in the middle of an interview and stream and